Hey, this is Guido coming at you with a tactics talk. I am here on Ruinberg in my T-34 Tier 8 Premium American Heavy Tank. This is going to end up being an ace tanker game, and this one is titled Spontaneous Team Play. As we all know, in a random match you were thrown together with 15 other players, and it is not that frequent, unless you're in a platoon, that you end up working together very closely. It's all pretty random. But sometimes when you start to work, you realize that one of the other tanks is more or less working with you and sort of understands what you're trying to do. So this will be a case of that. I'll show you what I'm doing. We've got the 112, the Tiger II, 3601, a couple tanks behind us, and this is a pretty standard place for heavies to go right here in the corner. And immediately I notice the 112 is side scraping. With the buffs on the 112, that is an extremely strong position for him, as long as we can keep people from coming around and hitting him in the side, which is what I am attempting to do at this point. Now I don't want to poke around because there's plenty of tanks there and I'll get hit in the side. Plus if I go around that 112, he can't side scrape and back up. I'd end up blocking him, so we're going to be a little bit patient here. And there we go, we've got the first customer, and unfortunately I shoot him into the track, and the 112 starts side scraping and bouncing. He will mention later in the game that he actually bounces 8,000. So now I'm just going to side scrape myself instead of poking out. I've got him basically as armor in front of me, and I'm being very careful not to get up too close behind him so that I jam him, and I'm a little offset in echelon, which allows him to back up and maneuver freely, so I'm not actually getting in and blocking him. Take a bad shot right there on the side of the IS turret, so I'm going to block or bounce that nearly every time. And we are well outnumbered here, so this is going to end up being a really good game for me. I go to gold to try to get some actual pins. Another bounce on this guy. Probably right into his mantlet. Like I said, we're very outnumbered. Had they just come around this corner, more than likely they'd have rolled us up big time. But they are content, and I continue to use the 112 and his great armor. The 101 decides to come around the corner. I'll punish him for that one. And he repositions. So again, just continuing. I'm a little softer tank, so I'm going to use his armor, side scrape myself a little bit right here. Finally decide to get a little aim action in on this KV4, which I have bounced all day long. And now we've got the Tiger II behind us, and he is more or less doing the same thing I'm doing, except for he ends up shooting me. So that's one thing you've got to watch out for when you're in echelon like this, and everyone is side scraping, is making sure you don't shoot your buddy. IS-3 is going to find out that one of the problems with side scraping in IS-3 is exposing that little flat plate. I'm even just a little bit higher than he is, so it helps me out. I take a hit. The Su-101's come around the corner, and we're still trying to work on this KV-4. Again, he's got that flat plate. I let the 112's gun get out of my way so I don't shoot his gun. And now the 101, a little bit worried about him. I'm trying to be careful not to jam the 112. Continuing to do a good job. Take another hit right there. We continue to work this. Now if you look at the mini map, we are now getting flanked. Got somebody come around behind us, which I did notice. And the Tiger II responds. So pretty good. 3 tanks working together here. He saw what was going on and went back there. 101's going to come around the corner. Because he's a casemate tank, he's got to come around the corner and then spin his entire hull, and that takes him a while. I start taking aggro from the 304, but the team's losing pretty badly, isn't it? Look at that. And we've got tanks behind us. IS-3 thinks it's time to come in and finish this up. That time was actually long ago for him. And I'm thinking I'm going to end up dying in place, but I say, you know what, this guy has been working with me, so I am going to force the issue. Unfortunately, I clipped the 103 or the IS-3 like a moron, and I don't want to get hit in the rear by the 150 and the KV2, so the 112 and I will push around together. 112 does a nice job face hugging him. I take another hit on my gun. I'm out of repair kits. I fixed it earlier, I believe, and we tag team the IS. And because we have them on 2 sides, and I realize he's doing a pretty good job, plus he's got the nice armor of the 112, I leave him be at that point and come around this corner. I've got these dead tanks I want to use to help me be a little bit hold down right here. And unfortunately, once again, I clipped that guy. Probably better off, because had I come around that corner, he'd have shot me right in the side. And I'll take out the KV2. 150 gives me that opportunity. I'm happy to take it. He bounces, and I'm going to come around. Put a shot into him. And then face hug, because if I back up and give him range between me and him, he's going to probably be able to pen into my hole. And he actually ends up doing it anyway. He gets a little bit backed up onto that little piece of rubble and gets an angle down onto my top hole, and looks like he pens through it. And the 304 is shooting me. So now we're down to 2 tanks. But we've been working together, and here comes the 112. He sees where I'm going. Obviously the alarm is going off, so it's not that amazing that he's going back to the cap, but we'll end up working together here as well. Now I am pretty close to a one-shot for a couple of these guys, so I don't want to go raging around the corner. We have 1:13 left. I'll let the 112 move up, use his armor, and figure out where the rest of these guys are. So there he goes, he's doing a nice job. There they are. Did I get a hit on him? I'm actually going to miss this Pershing. Drives me crazy, right over top of him. And I'll tuck back up in here. The 112's pushed the Pershing back, so now I've got an opportunity to get a different angle. I'm going to come across here. Teamwork. He's got them locked up on that corner. But I need to get around because we've got to get rid of the 64. He can pen the side of the 112 and he's going to be trouble. So I'm going to come around here, track him down. He decides to charge me, so instead of pushing him, I'll back up. I actually over-angle here, unfortunately, give him a shot into my side sprocket and take a hit I shouldn't have taken. Shoots one more time, but I'm reloaded at that point. He's out. Oh, there's the A43, showed up behind me, so let's push around this corner. Keep him from hitting me, plus the 304. I don't want him hitting me, and I'm going to keep on trucking for a moment, because I'm still reloading. Now that I'm reloaded, and the A43 is still lit, he did not charge me, so now let's come back around and figure out where that guy is. Again, I'm worried about the 304. There he goes. He didn't see me. Yes, he did. Let's back up. And he dies to the 112. And now it's down to a 2v2 with the Hellcat. Bit of an exposed position here. I can see where the Hellcat last was, but if he has somehow swung around to the A line, he's going to have shots into my rear from up by those buildings. There's the 304 he's just fired, so now I can move across this open spot. The reason I moved back there initially is I had been spotted, and I don't want to come out into that open area until I know I've been dark for a little bit. The other thing you want to watch out for is going dark, or not being quite dark, moving, then going dark, and guys kind of estimating where you're going to be. 304 comes around this corner. Good deal, now we know where he is, and this is a bit of a gutsy move. I could see that his gun was still kind of flailing around, so he was trying to get into his RD mode or potentially his TD mode. And as the gun is kind of flailing around a little bit, I know he's not well aimed, so I waited. Got my reticle a little closer, a little smaller, and I was able to take him out. So now we've got to work together and get this Hellcat. 112 is headed up the middle. I'm going to come around this way. And I poke and prod over here. What I'm looking for is to see if I get lit, so that I know he's in one of those bushes looking this way. But so far so good. I'm obviously a one-shot to him, so I don't want to go raging down that road. And the 112 is working through the field. Depending on where the Hellcat is, that's maybe not the best move right there, but I do understand what he's doing. And I'm at 4,800. 7 kills, I believe. He's at 4 kills, and he'll end up getting this last kill. We'll speed it up a bit. There he is. I'm hoping he'll come back around this corner, but he doesn't. And the 112 is going to end up killing him. Break cover, because I'm hoping he'll come around that corner. And that's the end of that. We end up winning. He's got 5, I've got 7. I'm at 4,800 damage. And kind of some spontaneous teamwork going on there. And it's really nice when that happens, when you sort of see a guy is playing well and he's playing with you at the time. You make a push, he comes with you. You end up working teamwork to bring back what was a pretty bad game for a while there. So pretty cool when you can work together.